And so today we got some pretty exciting news for what's going to be our first of the 3 videos that we are going to post later today. Let's focus on the most exciting thing that got data mined this morning courtesy of Heeked, and it is a potential new strong attack type for an upcoming character that of course will be revealed in less than 1 week on the upcoming Quincy vs. Soripa special Bankai livestream. So jumping straight into it, only one thing was actually data mined today with this new update, that being a new attack type / game object currently called Machine Gun. It's assumingly going to spawn in a machine gun ally that will have its own special gauge, its own attack count, and also its own attack area, which I'm not gonna lie, sounds really cool. And since it was data mined now, we can assume it's going to be for this upcoming end of month banner. Now there's 2 big questions. How is this going to work and who is the character for? Let's talk about how it might work. And it can really go 2 ways, right? Is it going to be an object that you place on the floor and it doesn't move? That's going to be a bit hit or miss, to be fair. Maybe it'll be good for bosses, and it really depends on what the, how fast their attacks do. If the damage itself isn't that great, it might just be a gimmick that we kind of forget about after this character does release. But again, it really depends on how it does work. If you place it down in front of you, you would kind of have to wait for the enemies to get close to you, which, as we saw with the trap mechanic, it's a bit of a gimmick, right? The trap mechanic, though, can actually be really good as seen with Yachi Unohana, and it's more so best demonstrated in guild quests, arena, and also co-op when you place it down on top of bosses. Because usually those type of enemies you're not one-shotting, they have a set spawn position, so you get to actually benefit from that trap mechanic. And we might see the same thing here with this machine gun. Maybe you place it down on a particular spawn point for guild quests, bosses that spawn in co-op, or of course in arena, then it might be able to do some respectable damage. The big question is, how much damage would it actually do? I would like to think a decent amount, but if it can somehow follow you around, that would make it even better in my opinion, because then you could actually be doing some extra DPS while also doing DPS yourself. Again, not really sure how this could potentially work out, but I'm excited nonetheless for like a new type of strong attack effect, attack type more so, coming to the game, especially for a potential new Sturmritter, because that is the also big question, right? Who is this going to be for? As of right now, there are 2 big contenders, and I would like to think this basically confirms one or the other, is that we're either getting BG9 or GREMMY. Now, of course, most of the excitement would come from GREMMY. He is, after all, the more popular of the 2, and he also had his big moment with the Kenpachi fight that we did see early this week. So if Caleb want to potentially capitalize on the hype as far as they possibly can, releasing a new GREMMY and therefore Kenpachi for end of month would actually be really exciting. And again, with GREMMY, we do actually have machine guns that literally go behind him, and I guess in this case, it could actually follow him around, which would look kind of weird, but it could potentially work. Having said that, though, to temper the expectation, because I know if we go into this end of month banner expecting a, Shikai, Kenpachi, and GREMMY, and we don't get that, there's going to be some initial disappointment. Because personally, I do believe this is actually going to be more so for BG9. Because until we're shown otherwise, as of right now, Caleb have yet to show that they can release a character alongside an episode release. That's one of the main reasons why we had to wait 9 whole months for a new 1000-year Blood War anime banner, because Caleb do plan that far in advance that they can't just make a character in the course of a month. Unless they specifically plan that far in advance to release these characters alongside the episodes, but again, when Core 1 of the anime was airing, they showed us that they don't want to do that or can't. So again, unless we're proven otherwise and they can do that, I'm going to always expect characters from the previous season, Core 1. In this case, it could easily be the first Invasion Sturmritters, most likely Esnot. We've been talking about that for quite a while now. But with him, we could get a potential BG9. He, after all, does tick all the boxes. He's shown in Season 1, he has a fight, albeit not the biggest fight, but a fight nonetheless. And he also does have a machine gun. I don't think he uses the machine gun until Season 2, but they could easily just make it part of his kit for the Season 1 character, right? And it wouldn't be the first time that Caleb make a strong attack kit or a set of attacks for a character that really doesn't demonstrate much. And at least to me, I feel like this would make more sense for BG9 to have this mechanic, since while it's true GREMMY can obviously use machine guns, it's something that he kind of just does casually. It's not the main thing about GREMMY. And if you told me that GREMMY would come out into the game and one of the main mechanics that he can do is the machine gun, and that's the main focus of the character, it would feel a bit weird since that's not his biggest attack. He casually does it, and then he moves on to other attacks that have more spectacle, and that should be more so the focus of the character. With BG9, he doesn't demonstrate a lot, and a whole machine gun mechanic for his character I think would be more in line for him. It would also sell the character more, since of course BG9 won't be the most exciting of the banner, especially if Esnot's in it, but if BG9 gets a whole new mechanic, that would give you more reason to pull for him outside of it just being BG9. You would want to play with that, it's something new, would make him more fun. And I think that's something Caleb might want to do. But yeah, either way, the main thing to take away from this data mine is that we are, of course, going to be getting stun raters for the end of month. And right now, from the fact that we are getting a character with a machine gun, it can only be BG9 or GREMMY. I'm again going to go with the expectation that it is Core 1 Quincy's from the first invasion, and that's why I'm personally expecting BG9. Main reason is because I don't want to get disappointed. I would love for a GREMMY, and I think GREMMY would again be the more exciting of the two, but I don't want to go into the Bark Alive expecting that and then get disappointed when we see BG9. Especially because I've been waiting years for these characters. I'm not going to let my expectation, whether it's valid or not, ruin my potential excitement for a new character coming to the game, and I do want to play as BG9, even if it is from the first invasion. Same goes for Esno. I know his Volt standing would be the more exciting, but Sembo and Zakura Esno would also be kind of cool too. But now that this data mine does suggest that we might be getting BG9, the other characters are now up for debate. I still think we're going to get Esnot, so we could potentially get Esnot, BG9, maybe Killgay, maybe it might be a 4-character banner. Kangdu, BG9, Killgay, Esnot, or Driscoll. These are all possibilities for his upcoming end of month. And since we are here, we might as well talk about this too. Remember last month we did talk about the potential 8th anniversary data mines? These in particular were data mined Ignore, Poise, and also the Rampage skill. We got both of those, but you will notice that we didn't get the Gauge character. So one of these upcoming end of month characters should also be a Gauge character, right? And in this case, upon activating their Gauge ability, they should either get an additional Frenzy or an additional Flurry. At the same time, they also could pick up Adrenaline, Sprinter, or Long Stride when the Gauge is completed. Since Adrenaline is there, that is increased normal attack speed. We very well might be getting an end of month character that is going to be a Flurry character, a normal attack damage character. So when the Gauge is completed, they get Adrenaline, increasing their normal attack speed, but also at the same time getting potentially Flurry +3, which would actually be kind of cool for a Nad character, I will say. Especially given the fact that we haven't had a really good Nad character since basically 1000 Year Blood War Aizen over a year ago. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Nad characters, but I do know a lot of people enjoy that type of gameplay, so I would like for them to get a new character to play with, even if it's not really my type of playstyle. And again, I guess since we are here, this is more so to disprove of this leak going around. For those that are unaware, it's been an image on Discord, it's been sent around quite a bit, saying that we're going to be getting Esnot, Master Masculine, and also Bambietta, all in their Volt standing forms. Obviously, a banner like this would actually be really hype, but again, the source from it was unknown. Soldex even commented on it saying that nothing in the file suggests this. And now that we have this data mine from Hiken, suggesting that we're getting either GREMMY or BG9, we can assume that this leak is fake. So if you have seen it, I wouldn't believe it. But yeah, with that said, lads, that was the video for today, going over this data mine that we did get. Pretty exciting stuff, I will say. I'm excited to see how this is going to look in game. And for those that made it to the end, let me know what character you think this is going to be. Are you on Team BG9 or are you on Team GREMMY? I would love a GREMMY more so than BG9, but I think we'll probably do Core 1 content instead. We haven't even had the story in game yet, nor have we really gotten anything from Core 1, so I feel like it'll be a bit too early to jump into Core 2 content, especially that far into Core 2 with Kenpachi vs GREMMY. I would like to think if we were getting Core 2 stuff, we would more so get the fights that happen earlier, like Rukia vs Esnot, Mask vs Renji, Bankai Rose, or maybe even BG9 vs Soifon once more. I'm not too sure, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.